Today's topic is avoiding burnout. For those of you who are here joining us for the first time, let me introduce myself. My name is Michelle Mirapur. I'm a professional organizer and holistic lifestyle transformation coach, and I have teamed up with JK Moving Services to bring you all this webinar series called Workspace Wednesdays, Making It Work for You. So every week we have a different topic, and like I mentioned, today's topic is how to avoid burnout, whether you're working from home or not, because we all have times where we get really stressed and feel like we're burning out. Not everyone is working from home currently. Some people might be retired. Some people might be working part-time. Some people might not be working at all because of the pandemic. But whatever the case is, the tips I'll share today, I think, should be useful for everyone in terms of relieving extra stress and anxiety that you might experience in your life. And every week the topic changes, so just a couple of logistical things. At the end of the webinars, we'll be sending out surveys, and we'd love to hear back from all of you. Make sure you tell us what your takeaways were from the session, your favorite part, and what you'd like to hear about in future webinars, so we can cater the topics to what you would all like to hear about. That would be helpful. And the purpose of this series is to create a nice little community where we can all come together and support each other during the challenging times that we're facing during this pandemic. So as I mentioned, some people might be working, some people might even be homeschooling their children. So on top of your added responsibilities of working. So it gets pretty challenging, it gets pretty stressful. And this is meant to be a nice little safe space for you all to come and share those challenges, communicate and interact with each other during the chat window, ask questions, support each other, vent if you need to. And if you ever have any questions, you can always send them here. If you don't get an opportunity, you can send them to askmichelle@jkmoving.com. And I will go ahead and send you that message here as well with the email address, askmichelle@jkmoving.com. Okay, perfect. So let's get started with a few tips that I feel are very helpful when we experience that extra stress and anxiety in our lives, no matter what it might be. We might be going through some challenging, family issues or work issues, or, this pandemic. Obviously, we're all going through that. When we get stressed, I think it's really, really important to take a moment, take pause, and just breathe and think about the good things that are happening in your life. So I think gratitude is very, very important. I like to practice that every single morning. That's the first thing I do when I get up, is I think about everything that I'm grateful for, everything that's going beautifully in my life, because it's really easy to focus on the negative and forget about the positive. So I'd like to remind you all to just take a moment throughout your day, whether it's first thing in the morning, in the middle of your day, or at the end of your day when you're going to sleep. Just think about the beautiful things that happened during that day or your week or in your life in general, and just take a moment to be grateful for those things. So let's type in the chat window at least one thing that you all are grateful for, because I know we have plenty of blessings and plenty of things to be grateful for. And let's take this moment now to share what those things are. And some of those things I'm sure will resonate with other people as well. Elizabeth says the sun is shining. Yes, isn't that wonderful? That always makes me happy when we have nice sun outside. Let's see. Oh, Jeff was asking, what is a green screen? A green screen is literally a backdrop, which is a big screen, kind of like a movie screen that you set up, and it's made of green muslin fabric, and you put that up, and then you can project all kinds of images onto the back of it. And just like you have an image, Jeff, and I imagine you're not using the physical fabric green screen, but your computer picks it up properly. Not everyone's computer supports a crisp, clear image, so then you have to put up a green screen. Jeff says, my wife and I are healthy. Yes, health is absolutely number one. I'm always grateful for that. Without health, we don't have much else, do we? Renee says, I'm grateful for still having a job and that I'm able to work from home full time. Yes, that is truly a blessing because there are many people who've lost their jobs. So that's very important. Miriam says, the roof over my head and food on the table. Absolutely. We have to go back to basics during times like this, right? We have food, we have shelter, we have our health, we have our loved ones. And when you think about it, that's really all that matters. Everything else is kind of secondary to that. So that's the way I look at it. Anytime I feel upset or down about anything, I go back to the basics and I'm truly grateful for those things. Kana says, grateful for my continued paycheck. Absolutely. Michael, a very kind and supportive landlady. Oh, that's a true blessing. Donna says, my and my family's health. Yes. Ginny, grateful for my job. Absolutely. Leela, grateful for health and family. Yeah. So are you all seeing common patterns here? Health and family are very important. So when it comes down to the extremely stressful things that we're dealing with, just take a moment, take pause, and think about the beautiful things that you have in your life. And usually it comes down to health, family, loved ones. Grateful to be able to work from home and staying healthy, says Elizabeth. Yes, absolutely. Jill says, today I'm grateful for a positive day with my teenagers. Yesterday, emotions have been a bit tricky in our household. Yes, I know how that works. Emotions run high and low sometimes. Kathy says, family, health, and a job. Yes, absolutely. And Sandy says, my home, retirement, nature. These are all wonderful things to be grateful for. So just remember to take a moment throughout your day and either just think about them. You don't have to speak them out loud. I like to speak them out loud. Sometimes you can just write them down in your journal. But if this becomes a daily practice, you'll find that whatever is bothering you, once you sit down and take note of all the beautiful blessings in your life, all of a sudden, all that other stuff seems secondary. Okay, so the second tip that's really important is to meditate. And I like to do that when I do my gratitude in the morning. So I just take a few moments, and meditate can be as simple as just closing your eyes and taking a few deep breaths and just spending 5 or 10 minutes before you start your day to kind of collect your thoughts and center yourself. And sometimes you don't want any thoughts in your head during those 5 or 10 minutes, and you're just focusing on your breath and taking deep breaths in and exhaling and centering yourself to start your day. And sometimes that meditation happens during different parts of the day. But whenever you feel you need to be centered and balanced because things are just not going the way you expected, make that the moment in your day that you stop and you do your gratitude and your meditation. It works wonders for me. Who on here meditates, even if it's just for 2 minutes a day? It doesn't have to be a whole practice, that's 15 or 20 minutes long, although I know some of you do have a regular practice. But who actually does the meditation or the breathing? You can call it, just sitting still, closing your eyes and taking deep breaths. Who practices that? Dell says, I started to use meditation and it has really helped me to feel more calm and productive. Yeah, isn't it amazing how that works? Just a few moments of meditation really makes a difference. Let's see. Gail says, I do it every day at least once for 20 minutes. Oh, that's beautiful. Yes, so you've made it part of your practice. Perfect. Who else does that? Who else just takes some time to say, this is my time to just close my eyes, shut out all the noise, all the distraction, and just take a few deep breaths? And what does that do for you? And if you've not started it yet, then try to start it after today and see if that makes a difference. And then let me know next time we get online together, or send me a message and let me know how that worked for you. Dell says, I consider taking pause instead of reacting instantly. That's a type of meditation. It is, actually, it is. As soon as you realize that something is stressful, or you're about to react, or you're about to get emotional about something, that's when you should take that pause, take a few deep breaths, go for a walk, or just sit still with no distraction and collect your thoughts again. That's wonderful. So I'd love to hear from people who have not tried it until now. after today, if you give that a try, I'd love to hear how that worked for you, what you saw differently after that meditation. I do a lot of corporate events where I go in and I do meditation and mindfulness and breath work with people. And a lot of times they say after, we do it for about 15 minutes, and they typically say after 5 or 7 minutes, halfway through it, they automatically feel this big sense of calm. And afterwards, a lot of people came back and said they felt more productive when they went back to their desk. So it absolutely works. And I encourage all of you to give that a try if you haven't yet. Gail says, Insight Time is a great free app. Oh, wonderful. That's really good to know. So take a note, everyone, Insight Time to use for meditation. Thank you, Gail. Okay, now the other tip that I have is a form of exercise. Any form of exercise, when you get up and stretch even, that's a form of exercise. If you just take a walk around your neighborhood or use the stairs in your house a few times, something to get the body moving and the blood flowing is really nice to give you a fresh new perspective if something is happening and emotions are bubbling up and you just need to kind of calm down. Exercise works wonders. And I usually turn to, my go-tos are stretching and yoga. And we'll be doing another session where I'll take you through some basic yoga that you can do right from your desk. So another corporate event that I offer typically is office yoga, because I want people to understand that even if you're at the office and you don't have time to take that lunch break and go to your gym in your building, or maybe do, a class afterwards, you can do very simple stretching poses from behind your desk to really make you feel better and relieve that soreness and that tension you might have when you're sometimes hunched over your computer. So we'll be going through that on another weekly webinar. Okay, so who does a form of exercise, whether it's yoga, stretching, walking, Pilates, jogging in place? Who's currently doing a form of exercise from their home to get their body moving? Carrie says, I do CrossFit and yoga. Oh, that's amazing. Do you use an app, Carrie, or do you watch YouTube videos? How do you do that? Jennifer says, walking in the neighborhood. Okay, that's wonderful, especially when the weather's beautiful. Gail says, I run and spin. Okay, that's amazing. Renee, we usually take a walk with our dog every afternoon. That's a beautiful thing about owning a dog, because you will definitely get your walk every day, more than one walk, actually. Michael says walking, hiking when I can, but the trails are closed these days. Yeah, so walking around your neighborhood is a good option. Jeff says, my wife often walks, weather permitting. Yes. Carrie, watch YouTube videos from 5 Parks Yoga. Oh, wonderful. So that's good to know, everyone. If you want to do some yoga at home, 5 Parks video is what Carrie uses. Kathy says treadmill and weights. Oh, great. So some of you might have a home gym and you can take advantage of that. And if you don't, it's okay. You just do a few stretching exercises, just stand up and stretch and take some deep breaths and take a quick walk or run around your kitchen. My mom, she walks back and forth constantly when the weather is not, nice outside. She just walks, back and forth in the kitchen and living room area. Donna says, I walk for 40 minutes each day. Also walk the dog along with stretches and weights. Perfect. Sandy does Tai Chi. Oh, that's amazing, Sandy. Jill, I was running 4 days a week and walking on the other days. I've been working too much and not getting my runs in. I can feel the mental impact big time. Yes. So especially if you're used to it, you start to feel the difference when you stop. And for those of you who don't have a regular, take a break and take a little exercise routine, I'd love to encourage you all to start from today. Whether it's just 5 minutes of stretching or 10 minutes of walking around your neighborhood. It doesn't have to be, a whole exercise video, anything simple and accessible to you. And also take a mental note of how that impacts you throughout your day. and how you might feel more productive or more calm after you do that little bit of exercise. Elizabeth says, I was also going to CrossFit, but doing the free trial Peloton app in the meantime, also walking in the neighborhood. How do you like Peloton? I was thinking about trying that, Elizabeth. Dell says, I run and body weight exercises and yoga. Oh, that's great. Do you also use an app, or do you watch a video? How do you do that, Dell? Elizabeth says, my mom does that too. House walking to get her 10,000 steps. Yep, isn't that great? You do what you can, whatever's accessible to you. Clinton says, I ride my bike over to the Ashburn Village Sports Pavilion and walk around the lake. Oh, you must have a really nice view there. That's amazing. So, so the bottom line is any type of movement will really help you throughout your day. So I encourage everyone who hasn't had that sort of exercise and movement during their day, especially now when we're all at home, to pick something, anything that works for you and give that a try. And then let me know how that impacted you. After you did that little exercise. Dell says, online yoga classes and routines from before the pandemic. Okay, good. Elizabeth says, love Peloton. They had a free 90-day trial. It's now 30 days, but I like being able to stream it to the large TV. Wow, that's amazing that they gave you a free 90-day trial. Okay, I'll have to give that a try. Thanks, Elizabeth. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is volunteering. So any kind of selfless act is amazing. So whenever you feel like you're just burning out and things are overwhelmed, things are piling up and you just don't know what to do, and just when you think that you don't possibly have any more time to give to anyone, I encourage you that should be the best time to consider maybe shifting some priorities so you have a little bit of free time to volunteer, because that does wonders for you. Just giving a little bit of your time, just a little selfless act of, even if it's 10 minutes of your time over the phone with someone who's struggling with a problem, a technical issue, a family issue, whatever it is, you volunteer your time, you post something helpful on social media. If some people are talking about some challenging things, you volunteer some advice, especially if that's your field of expertise. So volunteering, especially now during the pandemic, doesn't mean that you need to sign up for a shift at, a soup kitchen or, a homeless shelter or anything like that. It could be something as simple as you pick up the phone and you volunteer to help someone with something, especially if you know that they're having an issue and that's something you can help them with, because that will make you feel tremendous. That will make the other person feel really good. And whatever was overwhelming you before, I think will suddenly start to disappear once you feel like you've done a good thing for someone else. So who does different volunteering activities right now? Even if it's volunteering your time, doing something pro bono for someone, and posting your insight in a social media group somewhere. Dell says, I volunteer time and work with people struggling, especially right now. I attend meetings like this to see if I can not only learn, but help others. Yes, that's amazing. And I know, like I said, a lot of us are even more busy right now because we've got added responsibilities. Some people are homeschooling on top of a full-time job. Some people have, the house responsibilities on top of their job, or taking care of other family members. But I encourage everyone to just take 10 minutes of your time, even if it's just 5 minutes that you can spare, and think of how you can volunteer just a little bit of advice or guidance or time, even if it's just volunteering a listening ear to a friend, someone who would love to hear from you, someone who's having a challenging time right now. Volunteering could come in all, shapes and sizes. Darlene says, volunteering at the JK Community Farm Plantathon on Saturday. Oh, that's amazing. So let us know what the farm is about, because some other people might be interested in volunteering there as well. And if anyone knows of any online volunteering activities, please feel free to share those so other people might get some inspiration from you and decide that they might want to help as well, if there's an online volunteering activity going on. Great. And I'm also going to put up a Facebook post on my business page asking all of you to share other ideas that you might have there. If you don't think of anything right now, or if you adopt a certain exercise or practice later, feel free to share it there so other people can benefit from it as well. Donna says, volunteer at our church, have led the welcome committee for 2 years, working with newcomers, holding luncheons, also at our church, making phone calls to all members to check in. This is our pastoral care committee. Lastly, donate food that is distributed to needy families. Isn't that beautiful, Donna? You're doing a wonderful thing. Thank you. Thank you for all your help at the church. Darlene sent the jkcommunityfarm.org website. Okay, that's wonderful. So if anyone is interested, check that out. That might be an opportunity for you to volunteer. Perfect. And I am going to post my Facebook business page that I mentioned, so you all can, I'll create a post after this, and so you all can pop over there, have a look, and see if there's anything inspirational that you can add to the post to help others as well, because this is the time to start thinking about how we can come together as a community, help everyone during this time, whether it's through volunteering, whether it's through walking with a neighbor. Sometimes you might have an elderly neighbor who just doesn't get out of the house, and it would be really beautiful if you could just take that time to knock on their door and say, you know, would you like to go out? Today's a nice day. Would you like to go out? Would you like some company? You put on your face masks, you know, you keep your social distancing of 6 feet apart, but at least you've done a beautiful thing for that neighbor who might not have gotten a chance to go out, and you also got some fresh air in the process. So that's another form of volunteering your time. It can be anything. Okay, so now the other tip that is really helpful, and it goes along the same lines that I just mentioned, is reconnecting with a family member or a friend that you haven't talked to in some time. Reconnection is really important, especially now, because as I mentioned, sometimes whether it's that neighbor or friend who lives in another state or a family member, and they could be in a neighborhood nearby, but you just haven't spoken in a while, take this time now to kind of think about some of these people, jot down their names, and make it a point to reconnect with at least one of them, you know, whenever you get a chance, a couple times throughout the week. Just reconnect, say hi, check in on them, see how they're doing. You might be able to share a laugh or two. They might share with you something that they're struggling with. They might be overwhelmed. They might be headed towards burnout. And that call that you make to them could make all the difference in their day or in their entire week. So it's always nice to think about other people, especially during this time. So while you might be overwhelmed and feeling like you're burnt out sometimes throughout the day or throughout the week or throughout your month, think about how many other people might be going through that too. And how many of those people do you actually know that you can reach out and connect with and make a difference in their life and put a smile on their face. And anytime you do any kind of, you know, connection, any kind of act of kindness, you feel good as a result as well. Let's see. So Dell says, a friend from the Navy called me the other day, and it was like we had just seen each other, but we had not talked in years. It made both of our days. Absolutely. That's what it's about. And if you can get on a video call, even better, because you can see each other's faces. This could be someone that you haven't seen in a while because you were just too far away. They could be in another state on the other coast. They could be in another country. And now more than ever, I think the technology is bringing us together where we can see each other's faces and have a nice, you know, in person, as close to as in person as possible, in-person connection with that other person. So use this time, take advantage of this time. Elizabeth says, I have a Zoom meeting later today with extended family in California. Some of them, this will be their first call like this. There are lots of people who have never done Zoom. So maybe just reach out and say, hey, do you want to see each other today? And they might say, well, what do you mean? I can't come over there, And then you say, well, don't worry, I'm going to send you a link. And you just send them a Zoom link, and that'll just brighten their day to see your face. So that's a beautiful thing to do for people. Clint says, I volunteer some of my time at church and also with the Ashburn Volunteer Fire and Rescue Department. Isn't that beautiful? That's wonderful, Clint. I'm sure everyone in Ashburn appreciates all your volunteering efforts. Jeff says, my family, sisters and one brother have a weekly call on Sundays at a set time. Yes, make it a family thing. So instead of sitting together, family dinner, say we're going to have our Zoom session. A lot of people are sad because they can't celebrate their birthdays or graduations or, important life moments right now because of the pandemic. But I encourage everyone to let the party go on. Do it on Zoom. Throw up a fun virtual background with birthday balloons or, congratulatory messages or confetti, and still have that party. If you're doing a Zoom family dinner because people are all scattered, then throw up pictures of what's for dinner. Think of some creative ways that you can bring people together and reconnect with those people. Don't let distance be an issue because, like I said, now more than ever, we've got technology to help us through this time. Dell says, I have some friends that do a standing weekly family game night. Isn't that fun? Play games together. Absolutely. Excellent. And so the final thing that I wanted to mention is that it's really important to be playful during this time and just let your inner child come out. Sing, dance, watch a funny video. I mentioned in last week's session that, whenever I feel sad throughout my day, all I need to do is open up a funny video of a pet or a child. Those always make me laugh. If you have, pets or children at home, just, play with them, laugh with them, take videos with them, do a TikTok video with them. Just do something fun that makes you laugh and sing and dance and just be joyful. So these are just a few tips that really have been helping me and helping others that I've shared them with. Let's see, Del says, virtual backgrounds with vacation scenes. Yes, that's nice because you can't be on vacation right now. So create that virtual vacation and do a Zoom dance party. There you go. Do something creative like that. Get your friends together and have a Zoom dance party. So this is wonderful. Let's see. Jill is saying, watch Frozen or Frozen 2. Even if you don't have kids, you'll be singing, I promise. Absolutely. That always gets me going. And I don't even sing, Jill. Lana says, send pictures of flowers. Yes, flowers are beautiful. Anything in nature, any kind of scenery that just puts a smile on your face. Sing-ins, yes, absolutely. So just to recap again, the tips that I shared today are to volunteer and just be selfless. Reconnect with a family member or a friend, especially someone you haven't talked to in some time. Do a Zoom meeting with them. Do some form of exercise, whether it's yoga or treadmill or weights or walking around your neighborhood or walking back and forth in your kitchen or up and down the stairs in your house. Do some kind of stillness, meditation, breath work to kind of regroup, recenter, and rebalance yourself throughout the day. And lastly, be playful, sing, bring out your inner child, dance, do it with your family, do it with friends on Zoom if you don't have anyone at home or if you live alone. So these are just wonderful things to keep in mind. And I would love to hear from you all. Again, like I said, I'll post something on my Facebook page. Pop over there. It's in the chat window. Pop over there and add some of the things that you all do that help you get moving throughout the day, to bring out your inner child, to make you smile, to reconnect, to volunteer, any of the topics that we covered today. I am going to show you all who might be new to this how to save your chat window, so you can always go back and reference different things that people have recommended on here, links that people have posted, names of apps that people have shared. So if you open up your chat window, if you've closed it, open it back up again, and you should see either a more button or 3 little dots in the bottom corner of the chat window. If you click on that, there should be the option to save your chat. So let's all do that now together. Save your chat, and it should say chat saved and show in Finder. At least that's what it says on my Mac. And when you click on show, it'll show you exactly where it's saved. It's a text file. You can open it up later. We always have really nice interaction in these chat windows. So I encourage people to go back and reference them and look at different things that people have shared, especially today's chat where people have shared links and apps, which would be helpful. And again, I really appreciate having you all join me, whether you're a first timer or here for the 4th week. Thank you all so much for joining me today. Thank you for your interaction. Thank you for your smiling faces. Thank you for coming together in this community and helping each other get through this. And I would love to hear from you soon, and let me know what beautiful things you're doing in your life to help you eliminate that stress, anxiety, overwhelm, so you don't hit burnout. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. Have a wonderful week, and I hope to see you all again next week. Bye for now.
Thank you.